Mike, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking your time.
Thanks for having me on.
So right now it's been a strange time for nearly everybody, but on the contrary, it's been an exciting time for you because there's been a new addition to your family. How are you adapting to this new way of life?
Yeah, it's obviously a tough time for everyone being locked in their houses, but it was kind of a blessing in disguise for me. I just had a baby, so I'm getting lots of quality time with the family. I haven't really been home for 22 years, so to get in a routine, to wake up in my bed, to spend time with my loved ones on a daily basis has been great. Just to reconnect with friends that I haven't seen in years, and just feel kind of what it's like to be off tour, maybe retired one day, So I've just seen all the positives in this, and the body, the mind, everything's kind of regenerated, refreshed, and I'm actually itching to get back out there because it's just what we've done for so long. We've just been road warriors, going from tournament to tournament. So it's in our DNA to actually want to play tennis and compete and be with my brother. And so, we're looking forward. We got team tennis coming up. That's next on the horizon. That's going to be West Virginia. And so I got 30 days to get ready because I haven't hit too many balls. I got to sharpen up the tools a little bit.
And who's doing the nappies for the baby, you or the other half?
I'm doing my fair share. I can change a quick nappy. It's not always pretty, but I get it done. I try to buy Nadia some sleep in the morning because she's up breastfeeding all night. So I take the morning shift from about like 6 to 10 in the morning. So he blows through the diapers, like 5 or 6 diapers in that time, and just started bottle feeding. So gonna take some pressure off Nadia so she doesn't have to breastfeed all day. But yeah, it's been a blast. Little Jake, he's lean and mean. He's in the 25th percentile of weight, but he's tall. He's 95% in height. So we'll see. Maybe that'll be conducive for tennis. We'll see.
And this is you and Bob's 22nd year on tour and supposed to be your final year. And we'll get to that in a minute. But I wanted to ask, is there now more pressure for you because you want to finish on a high?
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to go out on a high, on top. We came into this year, we wanted to, say goodbye to the fans, play some of our favorite tournaments, get one last taste of the majors again. We were really looking forward to Indian Wells and Miami. Indian Wells is kind of like that's my home tournament. I'm from California. Bob just moved to Miami, so that's his home tournament now.
Okay.
But we were really looking forward to, those tournaments. Unfortunately, you can't, write a perfect script every time. You can't control a pandemic, that's for sure. No one saw that in the cards.
Yeah.
But, we're just making the most of it. We're going to, play a little tennis this summer. Team tennis is great. We've always loved playing WTT on a team. And we haven't really talked about the retirement aspect now. We kind of left it up in the air, and it's still, on the table if we come back and do it again next year.
Yeah.
And just pick some selected events, or would team tennis be enough? Now they're talking about playing the Open with no fans. We always wanted to finish and say goodbye to the fans. If there's no fans, that's another element that we have to kind of negotiate. But yeah, we'll make the best decision for us and see how we're feeling. The priorities have shifted a little bit with now I have Jake here. Bob's got 3 kids in school, so I mean, we had a good start to the year. We said goodbye in Australia. We played one more Davis Cup tie, which was cool. We won for our country. We ended up winning Del Rey. So I think we won our last 5 or 6 matches, so can't complain.
And throughout those 22 years, what did you and Bob have to do to keep staying relevant and competitive?
Yeah, I mean, luckily we had that really tight twin bond. We are always pushing each other. We're so competitive amongst each other, not only just the tour, but we're always pushing each other to get better. We're brutally honest. So, I'll tell him if he needs to work on his backhand or serve, and we take losses extremely hard. So it really gets us thinking of how we can improve, so a lot of times some of those toughest losses made us better. It wasn't always rosy. There was, a bunch of obstacles on the way to winning some of these tournaments. But at one time we lost 5 Grand Slams in a row. We lost big Davis Cup matches. Those are usually the ones that stick out because those keep you up at night and those hurt the worst. But I just love the way we've been able to like bounce back. Our friendship and our love for each other hasn't shifted. We're still as tight as ever. We're best friends, and we've been really loyal to each other through the ups and the downs. Because a lot of teams want to jump ship if there's a bad month or two and they have some tough losses. I mean, the grass is always greener on the other side, so they're looking for other partners. But we've been a package deal through it all, which is it's been great. I mean, we'll get a look back on our career and smile and talk about some of these fun times. And I mean, the main thing, we just love doing it together, and that's what kept us playing for so long, is that we just really love the game. There's a passion deep within us. So we didn't mind playing, 12 weeks in a row in Europe. We got dirty, we just loved it. We love competing, love trying to figure out ways to get better, and that's the challenge, especially at this age, is you can keep improving your skills, but the body starts declining a little bit. So it's fun just figuring out ways to, tweak the games and the technology or whatever to keep getting better.
And what was doubles like in the 90s when you first started compared to now?
Yeah, I mean, the game's changed tremendously. I mean, we played against guys like Edberg and Becker. I mean, we spanned a bunch of generations because we played for so long. And, it's definitely evolved. I think more teams are playing, our brand doubles. We came in and maybe revolutionized the power doubles. We're on tight in the net, a lot of moving, getting close and putting away volleys and taking over from that position. But then guys caught up, the game shifted. And then as the technology got better, returns were a lot nastier. And so everyone could spin the ball down. The ground strokes were really tough to handle. And so then the I formation came around, and that's been probably the last 5 to 10 years. We don't love doing the I because we feel like we like just playing conventional. It's just more fun for us. We feel like we're not that quick out of the eye. So but we have to, we have to adapt too. So we changed a little bit. We add that in, and then, now you got half the teams you're playing are staying on the baseline and ripping groundies. So that provides another challenge because, I mean, their ground strokes are so powerful. These guys have monster forehands. So it's been a great contrast to see for the fan. You get some of these double specialists playing against some of these top singles guys. And I think it's just really attractive to see the contrast, and so we've had to deal with top singles guys playing and then their power game. You got the I formation. You got guys tighter than net. So I feel like we've kind of pushed the bar and had to keep improving, evolving. Like I've started mixing in lobs. I've never lobbed really before on the return, but since guys are serving and staying so tight to the net, you have to keep them honest. And it's been fun to play for so long. And we played against our idols. We played against the Jensens and the Woodies. Yeah. And now we're playing guys that are half our age. We're playing guys that weren't born when we turned pro.
And right now, there's so much uncertainty with the U.S. Open, which is where you and Bob want to retire. But what are your memories playing your first doubles match at the Open in 1995?
Yeah, we played when we were about 130 pounds. We were 17 years old. We won Kalamazoo and got a wild card. And we walked in the grounds. We were just wide-eyed. And we couldn't really believe that we were playing in the big show. Yeah. And we're watching guys walk by us like Agassi and Sampras, all these guys that we had posters. So it was really tough for us not to get autographs. But we had that, we had the credential around our neck. So it was all access. We get in the locker room. It felt like we were like spying on people because it felt surreal. We were in Disneyland every day. We were the first guys to show up at the U.S. Open in the morning. We got 3 meals a day there. We watched every match that we could. We watched every practice. And we were just kind of along for the ride. But we played our first match against Pat Galbraith, who's now the USTA president, and Grant Connell. They're the number 3 seeds. and we were just out of our league. We lost the first set 6-0. We had no power. We were just basically like a finesse team, had quick hands, but they were just chomping on our serves. And it was just great to see the next level. You have to kind of see it before you can actually get there. So it was kind of a rude awakening. Oh my God, we have a lot to work on. This pro game is really tough. And so then we decided to go back to, we wanted to go to college, and we needed college because we had to get stronger, had to put on weight, had to improve a lot of, so that was a great transition game. But that first US Open in '95 was an amazing experience. We were like fans that got to play. It was cool.
Yeah. Let's say if the US Open is held with no fans this year, don't you think it would be such an ordinary ending for such an extraordinary career for you guys?
Yeah, we're gonna have to weigh that possibility. I mean, I think it's heading toward the no fans. You just have to be ultra safe with this disease. So yeah, we'd have to just see if we would really want to play it, because we have so many great memories from the US Open. That would probably be down on the list. It might just be a little bit lackluster to finish a US Open with no fans. Like, who do you wave to? Who do you think? The atmosphere could be a little dismal, and that you don't want your last memory of such a special place to be that. So Bob and I are going to talk about that, and there's a chance we won't play, but we're just gonna. There's a lot of options here. We'll see what happens.
Okay, have you given any thought to maybe any post-retirement activities?
Yeah, I mean, well, now that we've had 3 months to be inside thinking about it, it's we've thrown around different things. We want to stay in tennis. We just really love the game, and whether it be in maybe some TV, or we want to maybe do something together. We like helping people too. Like, we have a foundation, maybe get more involved with that, and do some more events to raise money for the kids. But it's we're gonna kind of let it come to us. We enjoy really being retired. It feels like we've been going full steam ahead for so long, always shooting for the next goal, trying to improve our bodies, our minds, our games, and it's just been full throttle. So we'll see. I mean, let's see what we like doing. I want to be passionate about something and really enjoy it.
After 22 years on tour, what do you hope, or what do you think is your greatest legacy?
I mean, we played with a lot of joy and energy and passion, and the fans really picked up on that. I mean, I thought every time we walked out there, we were super focused, but we were also, had fun, and we kept the bar pretty high, the standard of excellence. We didn't let it drop. We'd like to say that we helped, popularize doubles a little bit, because we came around during a time where it was fading. Yeah. The tour was pushing it off to the side, and so they implemented change with changing how the system worked, and just focusing on doubles more, and it's in a good place, and so hopefully we inspired some people to want to play doubles or play tennis, and that's all you can ask for, and hopefully we did it with class and had respect for people, and treated the fans nice. We love to sign the extra autograph or stay around after practices and matches and talk to some kids. So I mean, that's all you can do, and then the rest is whatever, it's history.
And I think a lot of tennis fans don't know the story, but in 2005, professional doubles was on the verge of extinction, but you and Bob managed to save it by filing a lawsuit with the ATP, was it? You can tell me the full story?
Yeah. So in 2005, I think the economy was struggling a little bit. Tournaments weren't doing well. They wanted to figure out ways to save money on their end, because the tour is half tournaments, half players. Yeah. And they came to the conclusion that, the top singles guys do the majority of ticket sales. Yeah. And so from a profit standpoint, paying for doubles hotel rooms, paying for doubles prize money, and all that comes around with holding another tournament within was not great from a business perspective. So there's a few guys on the board that came up with these radical conclusions that they would really limit the doubles draw, and you get rid of, a lot of the doubles players. But we came from the standpoint that doubles is just an integral part of the game. You need it. You don't go to the zoo and you only look at the lions and the tigers. You need the penguins, or you need all the other animals. You need tennis, and a lot of fans play doubles. They love it. I have a club across the street. It's only everyone's playing doubles leagues, and so like people love watching doubles. Yeah, it doesn't get on TV enough, and TV makes the singles players stars. And so, Federer is going to sell out a stadium, in 20 minutes. But doubles is great for the game. We feel like, we pushed, we got a lawsuit. We just thought it was unfair. And so a lot of the doubles guys rallied behind it. Luckily, Etienne de Villiers was a great ATP CEO, and he agreed from our point of view. And then they implemented the change of the scoring so they could package doubles into a more of an hour or an hour and a half. It wasn't going to be a 3-hour match, because you have a super breaker, you have no ads. So they could put more doubles matches on center court and promote doubles that way. And you just got to care for it, because if you sweep it on the rug, you don't promote it, and you play doubles matches at 9 a.m. or 10 at night, fans they aren't exposed to it. But some of the best doubles points happen. You see the Indy Wells, like it's a stacked doubles draw. You got the top singles players playing against the guys that can really volley, and they got great communication, they got strategy, and the fans just eat it up. They love it. So right now, I think doubles is in a great spot, and if we played a little part in that, we're pretty happy that we did.
I want to go way back to your junior days. You come from a tennis family. Both your parents are tennis coaches. In fact, I read when your mother was playing a doubles match on you and Bob's due date. How mad is that?
Yeah. She they owned a tennis club in Camarillo, California, and my dad played in college. My mom actually played on tour. She played Wimbledon 5 times. So she played during like the Billie Jean King era. She actually crossed over with Chris Evert. So she was a hell of a player. So a little bit of our talent might come from my mom, but my dad he did an amazing job with big junior programs. He ran this facility in Camarillo, California, and really made it fun for a lot of kids from Southern California to come up and want to do the clinic. And so they created this environment for us, which we just thrived in it. It was amazing. It was our whole life. We'd go out to the club in the morning, we'd stay there all day, or if we had school, we'd come and be there from 2 to 6, and we'd practice 4 hours a day, but we didn't even know we were doing it because we were having a blast with our friends. It was stimulating, but it's just part of our family. It runs through our DNA, tennis, and it always has. Yeah, as you said, my mom played on our due date, and then I think she gave birth, and the next day she was running a tournament at our club. And so we're all they're still heavily involved in our tennis, and I was out there hitting balls yesterday. They're both watching. They have amazing input, and so we've just done it together as a family. It's been cool.
Is that club where your tennis journey began as well?
Yeah. We grew up at the Cabrillo Racket Club. My dad owned the club for 30 years. He left law school and he was going to become a lawyer, but then got offered a job to be the manager and tennis director at this club, and he jumped at it because it's really what he loved to do. And we just, from 2 years old, I've seen pictures. We have little tiny tennis rackets in our hand. When they were teaching lessons, we were just sitting in their ball baskets, and that's where it started. We played our first tournament at age 6, and played one pretty much every weekend. It was just what we loved to do. My dad was smart. He took us to pro tournaments and college matches and really inspired us. And so we developed these idols, and we really wanted to be like these guys. And then he had us set our goals where we wanted to, win X amount of trophies and eventually get, free rackets from Wilson or whatever. So we had to do just it was like baby steps all the way up. And then it was like winning Kalamazoo. And then that happened. We got a taste of the pro game, but we wanted to always go to a top university, and we went to Stanford University, which, looking back, that was, the most fun we've maybe had in tennis, just playing for a college team. So it was a progression, but it all started at the career rec club, when we were super young.
I mean, I understand you and Bob were not allowed to play against each other in the junior tournaments. Why was that?
Yeah. My parents didn't want us to be competitors. With twins, it's a really delicate relationship, and you don't want one to be perceived better than the other.
Okay.
And we stay in the same room, and everyone's got dreams of being the best, in the world. But if you're losing your twin brother, how are you going to do that? So it was smart. It was really smart, because there could be a tendency where one twin is better at one point and dominates the other one, and then the other one could just be like have broken morale and lose interest in tennis. And it kept our relationship really tight. So we didn't look at each other as really competitors. We were more of a team that today we feel like we have that unique, just twin tight bond. And that maybe was the fact that my parents didn't have us play, because we met in 100 to 200 finals in local tournaments and SCTA tournaments. We met in the national junior semifinals. And I really appreciate that philosophy, and they got it, and that's why we're close friends.
I want to talk about the Inner Voyage podcast that you just started and you're co-hosting.
Yeah.
Tell me about it, because it's not a tennis related podcast that some might expect.
Yeah, I mean, I've realized through my journey on tour that the inner game is hugely important. You see guys with a lot of talent. They work on their bodies and they're strong, but they self-destruct mentally on court. And so I started getting into like meditation and just diving deeper into the inner world and inner game. And so I went to a retreat and I met this kid from India. He's only 20 years old at the retreat, and we had great discussions. And I felt like I was learning from him. He's only 20, but he speaks like he's 80. And I mean, he's an amazingly talented kid. He's already a doctor, and so I felt like I was learning from him. I mean, he goes really deep into like spiritual wisdom, and I'm coming as like an athlete, and I'm thinking always, how can I improve my mind to play better tennis, how to reach flow states and all this. But we've had just fun discussions since the retreat. We were doing a bunch of Zoom calls, and then he proposed, hey, why don't we, record some of these conversations and do a podcast. And I said, you know what, I'm in quarantine. I got a lot of time.
Yeah.
Let's try it out, So it's been a fun experience. We actually just released one today. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's just a fun way for me to just dive deeper into these topics. And he throws out the topic and we tackle it, like it could be on death or life or, opinions. So there's so many different facets. But yeah, it's been a blast.
I hadn't listened to the first episode, which was about stillness. You mentioned that you meditate for 15 minutes before every match. Yeah.
I feel meditation's great. For me, it really just calms my body down. A lot of times we're, in our mind, and we're worried about the consequences of what's going to happen in the match. And some of these matches are really big and there's a lot riding on it. Sometimes you're playing for your country. Yeah. And if your mind, takes control and you think about everything about, what if I let my teammates down? Okay. You can worry about so much, but if you actually tap into your body and your breathing, you can silence some of that stuff and become still. And then it just goes deeper and deeper once you start figuring out that your mind can be quieted. It works in tandem with your body. The body and the mind are so related. And so whenever I calm my body, my mind would get better. Whenever I calm my mind, my body would get better. And then it was carrying onto the court. I'd just play a lot better. And during matches, there's a lot that can go wrong. There can be bad line calls. You could be playing bad. And so if you can not be triggered and react emotionally to these bad things that happen, I mean, bad things happen every day but if you can just see it for what it is and tap into your breathing, just use some of these things as an outlet. So yeah, it's been fun. I still do my morning routine, of meditation. It's part of my day.
So when and how did you start this meditation ritual?
Yeah, well, when I turned pro back in '98 out of Stanford, I had some chronic pain issues. I'd taken anti-inflammatories in college, antibiotics. I kind of destroyed my gut. I think. And so when I turned pro, I had different inflammation issues, and my body was aching, hips, and when you're trying to win on tour, that's not very great, to feel like crap. And so I'd get really anxious before matches because I'd be feeling so badly, and I wanted to try to figure that out and win matches. So I figured out pretty quickly, it's kind of out of necessity, that actually calming the body down and breathing and doing this type of stuff, maybe like a little visualization, helped. It helped maybe 10% or 20%, and I kept doing it, and I felt like my health was getting better. And then I figured it's kind of like a muscle. You keep working on it, you get better every day. So, but it was just really big before matches because I wasn't feeling good. So my anxiety and the stress was going up. But I like almost get sick to my stomach because I don't know if my stomach lining was gone or what was going on there. But and then you can then you start figuring out like, okay, there's a pattern to my behavior. The next day, same thing happens. So is it maybe a belief structure or something? So it's you just keep unpeeling the onion. But yeah, that's how I got into it. Just right when I turned pro, I just wasn't very healthy. And now I think I feel better now at 42 than I did at 25 or 20, just because I've taken control of my mental health, my physical health with diet, whatever. I love biohacking. So there's things you can do from that perspective to increase energy and all that. So, but it's been a fun journey. Like I maybe if I wasn't playing tennis, I don't even know if I'd be alive because my health was deteriorating pretty rapidly. And now I feel like you can actually turn it around. I think the body really wants to heal itself, and you just gotta kind of get out of the way sometimes, and you can do things to help in that regard.
And you say meditating's helped you on the court, but how has it helped you off the court?
Yeah. I mean, for one thing, meditation it like recharges you because you're bringing your energy from the outside. We're always focused on achieving and the outside world, but you're bringing it inside. So where you put your attention is where you put your energy. And so you're bringing a lot of energy back into your body. And so when you wake up or you get up from a 15-minute meditation, you feel like you have some energy, you're re-energized. And so and then you just handle the day better, like it seems like you're just back to baseline. You're not scrambling. You're not chasing the day. You have this anchor, and it's all about not being triggered by certain things. Anything can happen. I could get a text message or a call where, something went on, like, and just actually seeing it for what it is, not getting pulled into these emotions and not kind of breaking the stress cycle where I think we're addicted to this cocktail of hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. And it's so easy just to keep going like that and just be running on these kind of subconscious programs. So it helps break the cycle, and then you just don't react as much to the day, and then you can be a better husband, a better father. You can still try to do everything you want to do with achieving certain things, but you're just it just feels like you're more balanced.
I have two questions from a couple of regular listeners of the show. So the first question is from Paul Milton. He asks, what are your favorite doubles, set plays, and strategies?
Yeah, I mean, we're an aggressive doubles team. So we're always making fake moves or poach moves. And, you never just want a ball to float across the middle. So we're always putting heat on the middle, and we're making moves toward the middle net strap. So, I mean, we love the body serve in doubles. It just takes away the angle. We call it the handcuff serve, where a lot of times singles players don't see this that much, and they're really good on the wings. But when you can put a little spin on it and serve into the body, it tangles them up, and they're jammed. So they can't hit a very flush return. They can't hit it pure. And a lot of times they can't get it out of the middle. And so we love serving the handcuffs. Bob's got a great slice serve, and we'll do that a lot. We'll do some full switches where we have signals behind our back, or we'll just call a full switch. And you just want to always show the return movement because it gets them thinking they can't just rely. And that's how the game has changed over the years. There's a lot more fakes or full poaches. Like you don't see balls going across the middle So yeah, just keeping the pressure on the opponents that way.
And Richard asks, when you played with Jack Sock, how did you have to change your mentality and playing style?
Yeah, I mean, our games were totally different. I've never played with anyone that stays back and just waits on a forehand and crushes it. So it I don't know, it just meshed pretty quickly. I felt like he would set me up with some of those forehands where I could get involved and poach. Um, and we just had fun. I mean, we had fun. We were just kind of laughing. He doesn't take doubles that seriously. Yeah, he wants to win, but I think that attitude of like carefree, it carried into our games. And I bring a lot of strategy and experience. He brings a lot of firepower. He's a great athlete, and so it really meshed well. And you have to also adjust because I was an ad court guy for so long. I had to figure out the deuce court.
Yeah.
So I had to start figuring out the inside out back end return, and then there's a whole variety of shots that come with playing the deuce court. So I worked extremely hard with my coaches on developing like the forehand roller cross court for the winner, or like the topspin lob. And so yeah, it was fun to balance that out a little bit.
A few final thoughts, Mike. So how do you think men's or women's doubles will evolve in the next 10 or 20 years?
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean it's evolved to more of a baseline style game, and just watching some of the juniors come along, I don't think they're working on their volley tremendously hard. A lot of times I watch juniors and they rally for 2 hours, and they maybe come up hit volleys for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So you might not see a ton of serve and volley anymore. It's just that's the way the game's got. Like the return is such an aggressive shot, and everyone hits it so hard that it's a tough proposition to come in and hit a half volley. I started playing pro doubles 22 years ago, and I played against a team last year that they served and they started on the baseline, 2 guys. So that was eye opening to see that oh my God, the game could be 4 people on the baseline. What's it coming to? I hope it doesn't go that far, but I know that you're going to see just more baseline round. I know the women do it a lot, where they they try to beat each other from the baseline cross court, and then the net player gets involved. But I just love the contrast of the serve and volley against some of these singles guys. But who knows? I mean, technology moves pretty quickly. I know now I'm using a synthetic string in the cross. I used to use all gut, and that it feels like you can really put a lot of spin and get the ball to dip down. And so if you're at net and the ball's dipping, you have to hit up over the net. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm definitely gonna be watching it, and I'll be it'll be fun to see.
Now, one last question: are you worried that after you and Bob's retirement, that doubles again might be on the verge of extinction?
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, it just has to be promoted, has to be cared for by the ATP. It's in a really good place. A lot would have to go wrong. I mean, all the top guys that are on the player council, they support doubles. They play doubles once in a while. Yeah, the game shifted where it's tough to play in the slams for the top guys because the singles game's so physical. It's 3 out of 5. It's tough to go play a doubles match after that. So I just think it's set up in a perfect way that a lot of the top singles guys jump in these doubles tournaments during the year, and if you have stars playing, the fans like to watch the stars, but you still have to make doubles players stars in their own right, and that just I hope a team comes around that like the Colombians. We went down to play an exhibition against them in Bogota, and they're rock stars down there. We sold out a stadium. They're some of the most famous athletes. So it's great to have 2 guys from the same country playing together. Fans can really rally behind that. Teams stick together for longer periods of time. That's also good because fans can follow that narrative of how a team builds. And you never want to see like Knowles and Nestor break up, or Nestor Zimonjic. They finished number 1 in the world, but they can't keep their stuff together, and they end up breaking up. And And so fans want to follow teams. You don't want to see LeBron James leave the Lakers. You want to see him stay there for a little bit longer. Yeah. So I think it's in a good place. I hope it stays a big part of the game.
And lastly, before we wrap up, if people want to listen to the Inner Void podcast that you're hosting, how can they have a listen?
Yeah, so the Inner Void podcast, there's a link on my Instagram, and my Instagram is Mike C. Bryan, and we do a weekly episode. And so the weekly episode, I always tag it on my story, and there's a link there. If you just swipe up, you can check it out. But it's just the Inner Voyage on Anchor. So that's the platform we use for this podcast.
Thanks, Mike. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
All right, Eric. Great to talk to you.